Hey cats and chicks, this is part 3 of my vinyl record collection. Now we start getting into more heavier music, more aggressive music than rock and roll. And you're going to see what I mean by that right now. Let's get into it. Starting off with some punk rock. The Ramones' debut studio album, just titled The Ramones. We're starting off with some more aggressive music here in the 70s with the punk rock scene. And starting off, we got one of the most popular punk bands around, known as The Ramones, with their debut album titled Ramones. Gotta love it. Next 70s punk rock album, Nevermind the Bollocks. I'm probably pronounced that wrong. Here's Sex Pistols. Sex Pistols studio album. Next up, Ramones, Rocket to Russia, the second Ramones album, or third Ramones album. I'm pretty sure it's second. I don't really remember sometimes, but... Next up, we got some stuff from the horror punk scene with the Misfits, Static Age. Classic album here. Next up, we got the Clash, Combat Rock, with this gorgeous red vinyl. Nice candy red. Awesome. And this does come with a poster too, but I hung the poster up, so it's not in here anymore. So next up, we're gonna go into some rockabilly, because that's all my punk rock vinyls. Next up, we have the Stray Cats, Gonna Ball. I paid $10 for this. It's probably my cheapest vinyl I ever bought. My cheapest 12-inch was the Stray Cats album, Gonna Ball. $10 for this. It plays perfectly fine. There's no problems with it. Perfectly works, plays all the way through. $10. Sure, the cover's not in the greatest condition, but hey, man, as long as the vinyl plays and it's, looking good, then, sometimes that's really all that matters. Next up, another Stray Cats album, Rat and Rave. I paid $15 for this. The cover's in a little bit more better condition than the other one was. So... You have Brian Setzer, which is the singer of the Stray Cats, with his solo album, Gotta Have the Rumble. This came out in 2021. I remember when this came out. I listened to it the first day it came out. And I loved it, and I wanted to buy it on vinyl, and now I have it. So, cool. Alright, next up we have The Police, Greatest Hits. I wasn't really a fan of Police before, but I started listening to the Police, and I kind of got into them a little bit. This is a huge vinyl set here, as you can see. 4 vinyls in here. Alright, continuing on by the 70s, we have Van Halen 1. Alright. We have my favorite Van Halen album of all time, Van Halen Diver Down, or as some lady at Walmart call it, Diver Down. Amazing, amazing album. Next up, we have Van Halen, Fair Warning. Van Halen, 1984. Alright, let's get into some 70s Judas Priest, with Judas Priest's album, Sin After Sin. I was on kind of a theme of buying Judas Priest albums for a long time. I stopped doing it though, I don't know why. I don't have all their albums still. I don't have all Metallica albums still. I'm going to finish buying them soon here. Next up, we have Killing Machines, also known as British Steel. There was 2 different names for this album. We have it on vinyl here. It's the same album, just different names. It's the exact same album, just different name. Next up, we have Stained Glass. Exciter was a fantastic opener on this album, man. This album was great. And the last 70s Judas Priest album I own, Unleashed in the East, a live album. Let's get into some 80s Judas Priest with British Steel. Classic 80s album cover right there. in the metal community, in the metal world. Next up, Point of Entry. Wait, did I pronounce that right? Yeah, I did. Okay. Wanted to make sure I'm not mispronouncing these, although I kind of have already, but oh well. Next up, Screaming of Vengeance, possibly one of my favorite Priest albums of all time. The cover art on this album is fantastic as well. Can't go wrong with that album. Next up, you have Turbo Lover 30th edition. Now, there's two different album covers for this one. There's the purple and reddish pinkish one like I have here, and there's the original blue one where the hand is blue and it's got more of that reddish color. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check it out online. I'm sure there's pictures of it online, but this was another fantastic Priest album. Definitely one of my favorite ones as well was Turbo Lover. Next up, Ram It Down, another classic Judas Priest album. I can't pick what Judas Priest album is my favorite, man. They have so many good albums. Ram It Down's up there as one of my favorite as well. This album is fantastic, man. And also, again, awesome artwork cover with the fist. Just a good album, man. And now we have next, in my opinion, the heaviest Judas Priest album, Painkiller. Just my opinion, though. I don't know if exactly is the heaviest Priest album, but it pretty much is, man. The solos on this album are so heavy, the riffs are heavy, everything about this album is heavy. This is from the 90s, in case you're wondering, so we got to the 90s Priest with this album. Alright, next let's get into some 80s Metallica. Changed it up here, because that was the end of my Priest collection. Metallica's debut, Kill 'Em All. Metallica's second studio album, Ride the Lightning, and probably my favorite album by them. I actually have two versions of this. I have one that I've owned my whole life, pretty much. Not my whole life, but I've owned this for a long time. This was, fun fact, this was the first record I ever bought that got me into vinyl collecting was Ride the Lightning. And then we have the blue version from Walmart. So I'm going to take this out here and show y'all guys this. This album is blue. And I picked it up from Walmart. I only got it because it's blue, and blue's my favorite color. Oh, look at this bad boy. That nice light blue looks awesome. Same exact album, just blue. That's the reason why I bought it, is because it's blue, and blue's my favorite color. And this is my favorite Metallica album, so it's 2 and 2, and it's a match, man. I had to buy it. It's good to have backup vinyls too, man. You never know what could happen. Next up, we have Metallica's third studio album, Master of Puppets. Which was the last album that Cliff Burton was on. Rest in peace. Next up, we have the Metallica $5.98 EP Garage Days Revisited. It has like 5 songs on it, and they're all cover songs. My favorite song off of here is probably going to be Helpless or Last Caress / Green Hill. My two favorites off of this one. And this one, where we're going to end it here, guys, with Metallica's 4th studio album, And Justice for All. This was the last 80s Metallica album before they headed into the 90s. And Justice for All. Another great Metallica album. Possibly my second favorite one is the Injustice for All. Every album on here, every song on here, man, hits hard, man. So, gotta love this one. And yeah, so that's part 3 of my vinyl collection. We got into some metal, we got into some punk rock, more aggressive music. Hope you all enjoyed. Hit the like, subscribe button, and I'll see y'all next video. Peace.